That blank square is where we're going to write down the only lesson of this whole unit. It is such an important lesson that it is useful in every facet of your lives. You have already done it if you have been through Science 10. What we are doing now is unit conversions, which you have already seen. And what I'm about to show you works for every single instance in your life where you need to compare two different values. For example, I'm flying to the United States. I need some American money. I have $500 Canadian. How much money American will I get? This will show you how to do it. You go to the store when you are an old person and you see that a giant box of cereal, Cheerios, costs $9.99. But 3 little boxes cost $8.65. And you want to know which is the better deal because mommy and daddy are no longer paying for your food. You are paying for your own food. The store is banking on you buying the bigger box in hopes that you are a sucker and buy big and bulky. Often you find, if you actually do some math and break it down, you find that 3 little ones is often cheaper than 1 big one. But that's the type of thing you can use this math for later in life. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you always follow what I'm about to show you. And it is very, very simple. It starts with a quantity. Doesn't matter what that quantity is, but that quantity will have some units. It might be Canadian dollars. It might be kilograms. It might be coulombs in physics class. It could be a bunch of different stuff. And then you convert it. And how do you convert it? You follow this very, very simple formula. You multiply by a fraction. That fraction is simply this. What you want divided by what you have. And it doesn't matter what they are. As long as you follow this fraction, you can convert anything to anything else. Now, often I have students say, what do you mean, what do I want, what do I have? Well, let's go back to our example. I'm flying to LA. I live in Canada. So all my money in my bank account is in what kind of dollars? Canadian. I want American dollars. So the quantity I am starting with is some quantity of Canadian dollars, correct? What do I want? American dollars. So I would put US dollars up there, and I would divide that by the Canadian dollars. Now, you're all very intelligent people. As a matter of fact, you're the smartest math students in the school. What is the CAD officially over that we don't write? Whatever value I have there, for example, I have 800 Canadian dollars. What is this officially over? Hazel? 1. Excellent. Now, you will notice that I didn't write that there. But you will also notice that I have CAD and I have CAD, one in the numerator and one in the denominator. If I have the same thing in the numerator and the denominator of a fraction, what can I do to it? I can get rid of it. And what will be left? Whatever my Canadian dollar value is will multiply by whatever my US dollar value is. Does everybody see how this works? Now, the problem with it is the first example I give you is one that is so easy that you can do it in your heads. So a great many of you think, why the hell would I bother doing that fraction thing when I can just do it in my head? And I agree with you 110%. However, you should do the easy ones once or twice on paper. Here's why. If I were to give you this question, x plus 3 equals 10, what's the answer? 7. You can all do it in your head, right? Why? You know basic algebra. It's one-step algebra, right? 10 minus 3 is 7. That's the answer. You can do it in your head. But if I gave you this, can you do that in your head? Not really. So if you don't bother knowing how to do the steps for the easy one, when it gets a little more difficult, you can be in trouble. Everybody understand? Now, you would only need to do this once or twice, right? And then you'd be, oh yeah, I remember now. You do the opposite of what you see. But too often, especially young folk, see something they can do in their head and just do it in their head. Then the exact same thing when it's not doable in your head, I don't remember how to do it. But you do remember how to do it. So, even though in all this time I've been talking, most of you have already converted this in your head to 4.85, we are going to write it out properly because, as you can see, the very next one is not one that is easily done in your head. So we're going to write it out properly, and we write it out properly as follows. What is the quantity with which we are starting? 485 centimeters. Now I wish to convert that, so I multiply by what I want. What is my goal here? Meters. So meters goes in the numerator spot. What do I already have? Centimeters. So it goes in the denominator spot. Now I can't do any multiplying till I have numbers. Where do I find the numbers? From the chart. You already know it, that it is 1 meter and 100 centimeters. Right? But on my chart, I would just go and find it. It is right there. 1m, 100 cm. So the 1 goes with the m, the 100 goes with the cm, and it's that simple. What do I do with the cm and the cm? They cancel. What's left? A meter. 485 times 1 is what? 485. 1 times 100 is 100. And then you just do that last little bit. This one we can do in our heads, but we won't always be able to do it in our heads. So this answer is, of course, what we already knew to be 4.85 meters. But if you follow the steps for this easy one you can do in your head, this one that's inches becomes super easy again. How do I start? Start with what I have. I have 57 inches. Now, I don't like to write the little quotation marks. I like to actually write inches. Do I care if you do that? No, I couldn't care less as long as you know what you are doing. Okay? Then, of course, I'm going to multiply by my fraction. What am I trying to get? Feet. What do I have? Inches. Then I put in my numbers. I get my numbers from the chart. Right now, it's easy because we're staying within our system, SI to SI or imperial to imperial. So it's easy. You've already got all these in your head. Tomorrow, when we go between the two, you're going to need your chart, which is why, again, I am showing you this so slowly and expecting you to do every question, showing a couple of steps until you have it locked into your head. So what is going here? The 1 or the 12? 1. And 12 is going there. Of course, my units cancel, and I'm left with 57 over 12. Now, is that an answer? Would I say that I am 67 over 12 feet tall? No, of course not. So what must I do with this? I must do division. How many 12s go into 57? 4. So I'm going to be left with 4. How many inches does that cover? 48. How many inches must I cover? So how many inches are left over? 9. So it is 4 feet, 9 inches. Now, we have to be careful here. There's a lot of ways we could write this. It is also, and I'll change colors, 4 and 9/12 of a foot, isn't it? Right? It is also 4 and 3/4 of a foot, isn't it? What is it not? 4.75 feet. Does everybody understand? Now, if I was doing a calculation with this, could I use 4.75? If I was doing a calculation with it, of course I could. But would my answer have a decimal? No. Is everybody with me? Now, the other mistake that I have to make sure, and I know none of you would ever do this, 4 feet 9 inches. Does that equal 4.9 feet? No, because decimals are based on 10. And what are feet and inches based on? 12. So what would 4 feet 6 inches be? 4.5, or if I was doing calculations, 4.5. Is everybody good? Excellent. We are going to do the third one together. Then I'm going to let you do 4, 5, and 6 while I go get your sheet, because we're about to go past this, and I don't want you to have to be flipping back and forth. Oakley dokley. Same deal. Always works. 15 yards. I multiply. I have feet is what I want. I started with yards. 3 feet, 1 yard. Cancel the yards. Cancel the 1. 15 times 3, 45 feet. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Now, obviously, I'm going very fast. I have done this about 20 million times. You guys all know all these answers. It's just taking you a little bit longer to get there, and that's okay. Do not feel that you do not know what you're doing because you can't do it as fast as I can while I'm talking and writing at the same time. That's okay. You shouldn't be as fast at it as I am because you haven't practiced it 20 million times. Just like I don't know how to beat the big boss on level 4 of Call of Duty 2019 or whatever the hell you're playing right now. Okay? Because I haven't practiced it a million times. I don't play Call of Duty. I make a lot of Call of Duty jokes, so one of my students got me a Call of Duty mug for Christmas. It's kind of cool. When you pour something hot in it, a skull shows up. Yeah. Not that I know what that means, because I have no idea about Call of Duty at all. The last video game I played with any degree of desire to play it was God of War on the PS2. And I played some Shadow of the Colossus as well. I now have a PS4, and I still don't play it, although my son just bought Shadow of the Colossus from PS2 remastered for PS4, and it is so glorious. I just sit there and watch him play it because it looks that pretty. I couldn't believe it. I was like, it already looked pretty on the crappy-ass PS2, and my son's like, Dad, I want to buy Shadow of the Colossus. I'm like, how much is it? It's like $40. No way! He says, Dad, no way! And then it went on sale for like $29.99. I said, fine! Because I was mad at them nagging at me, and you're not allowed to deal with nagging kids the way my parents dealt with me when I was nagging, which was, I'll give you something to shut your mouth about. I can't do that anymore, as can nobody, which is a good thing, because you shouldn't ever do that. So I said to my son, fine! And then he got it, and then he said, Dad, you have to come down and look at it. I was like, I'm busy. It's not going to look any better. And he says, no, Dad, you have to come down. I'm like, shut up. And then my daughter said, no, Dad, you have to come down and see this. And I came downstairs. And I stopped cooking dinner. I watched him kill the giant buffalo head man. And I watched him kill the whole thing where you chop at his heel. Spoiler alert if you haven't played Shadow of the Colossus. The giant buffalo head man, his weak spot is his left heel. That's where you got to chop at. Sorry if you're into that and you're stuck on the first big boss, the first Colossus. None of you would be because, of course, as soon as you get stuck, you Google the walkthrough so you can cheat your way through the whole game. This is when all the boys go, yeah, I made my mom buy me a $90 game so I could Google the walkthrough and finish it in 4 minutes. Yeah, shut up. You all do that. Don't give me any of that crap. All right, you guys do 4, 5, and 6 while I get your charts. All right. Back to business. So, in number 4, what is the quantity I am starting with? 136 feet. I wish to convert it to what? Yards. So yards is the numerator. Feet is the denominator. Now I put in my numbers. 1 yard, 3 feet. Where do I get those numbers? From the chart. Remember, these are the easy ones. 1 yard, 3 feet. The 1 is with the yards, the 3 is with the feet. That's why if you write it out, it's impossible to do this wrong. The feet cancel. The 1 cancels, and I get 136 over 3. Now, what math are you going to do there? You're going to do division, and you're going to find something weird. What do you find? It's 45.3333. Now, all of you have done enough math to immediately recognize that 0.3 repeating is 1/3 of a yard, right? But we don't break yards down into fractions. What do we break yards down into? Feet. So it is 45 yards 1 foot. Everybody understand? Yes, it is exactly why I don't like imperial. It's idiotic. We count in decimals. We do money in decimals. Yet for some strange reason, those clowns down there can't figure it out. When you drive in the United States, it says the exit you want is 7/8 of a mile away from you. That's idiotic. Your car, even in the States, does miles in decimals. But they don't count in decimals. It makes no sense at all. But we're stuck with it. Next one. What am I starting with? 2016 inches. I want that in feet. I have it in inches. Where does the 1 go? With the feet or with the inches? 1 foot, 12 inches. And I get 2016 divided by 12. Does that work out perfectly? To what? 168 feet. Now, here's the next problem with the imperial system. We never use decimals with imperial, do we? Except they do use decimals when the numbers are big. Why would they use a decimal for 4.2 miles? What do miles break down into? What's the next one down? Yards, which is 1,760. Can you do that in your head? Neither can I. But I know that 4.2 miles is just a little bit more than 4, right? So when it's easy, those clowns put decimals in. Rather than just get rid of it, the whole system, they use decimals when they want. Now let me ask you this. Does this look different than every other imperial thing we've ever done? Yes, because it's got a decimal. But do looks matter? No, because in math there's rules. Do I have a quantity from where I am starting? What is it? 4.2 miles. I wish to convert it to feet, and I have miles. What numbers go where? 5,280 and 1. 5,280 times 4.2 is 22,176 feet. And it works out. Now, because you've got no decimals. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which number there is quite obviously a math class question, not a real life question? 6, obviously. You would never measure a distance of 4.2 miles in inches. That's stupid. That's like saying, I live 32 million centimeters away from this building. That's idiotic. What do I say? 32 kilometers. Everybody understand? But the skills needed to convert between the two are the same skills for when I do real life problems. Are we all good? Great. Turn the page over, do the next 4 while I make my hot lemon relief, because I'm too cheap to buy Neocitrin. And when you read what's in the stuff, it's exactly the same and it's half the price. Some people insist on buying name brand stuff, but not me, because again, I'm cheap. And because I'm literate and I can read. I don't remember if this is actually, yes, this is actually hot lemon relief. I must ask you to use your brain when purchasing things later in life.
So is it 36 inches?
The other thing you all should know about me is I'm a giant wuss about hot things. So remind me to drink this, because I'm going to let it sit until it's so cool it's not actually, the steam isn't doing me any good. So someone has to remind me, because I'm that much of a wuss.
I think that's right.
Now, hey, ladies and gentlemen, should you ever not know if you're right? You shouldn't, should you? Because obviously if I'm converting miles to feet, there is a lot of feet in a mile, yes? So therefore my answer must be very large. Does everybody understand? If I was going feet to miles, there are not many miles in the feet. So the number would be very small. Estimate before you start going to your calculator, because then if your calculator gives you a stupid answer, you won't write it down, will you? So, are there more yards in an inch or inches in a yard? There's more inches in a yard. So if I'm going from yards to inches, I must be getting a significantly bigger number, which is, if I'm not mistaken, 189,000. Is that a real life question? Of course not. You would never measure that many yards in inches. You've all watched enough movies to hear about the sniper who shot the president at 3,000 yards away. That sniper wouldn't say, I got the president at 122,000 inches away, because that sounds stupid, right? So again, not a real life problem, it's a math class problem. But knowing how to handle math class problems lets you know how to handle real life problems. She's so supportive. You did that math in your head?
It's exciting for him.
Good boy. Want a Bicky? He's not your dog. My dog today caught 10 in a row of my daughter won't eat the crusts of her bread because my daughter is celiac and so am I, and gluten-free bread crust is disgusting. It is so gross. So we always cut the crusts off my daughter's. So then she feeds them to the dog because the dog loves peanut butter. But she was throwing them to the dog. And he caught 10 in a row. I was very proud of my dog because my dog's pretty stupid. I mean, it happens, right? He's very handsome, but he's pretty stupid. I mean, not like me, who's super handsome and super intelligent. Right? And now, what is the problem with number 10? First of all, is it a real life question? Of course not. It's idiotic. Can you do that question in one step from your charts? No, of course not. Why? The conversion isn't there. I don't have kilometers to millimeters because it's an idiotic conversion. But you could go kilometers to meters, meters to centimeters. Or you could remember that every level of the metric system adds either multiplies by 10 or divides by 10, yes? Now, since I am starting with 17.2 millimeters, that's this much. So as a kilometer, is that a big amount of a kilometer or a little amount of kilometer? It's little, so it must be divided by, right? And when you divide, the decimal place moves in what direction? Left or right? Left. So I started with 17.2, but I want to go to kilometers. Right now I'm at millimeters, right? So I move 1 and I'm at what now? Centimeters. I move 1 more. What's after centi? Deci. Then I move 1 more. What am I at now? Meters. And zeros go in the hole. Then I am at decameters. Then I am at hectometers. then I am at kilometers. So the answer is 0.0000172 of a kilometer. Or, to put it into fraction form, 172 millionths of a kilometer. An idiotic number. Because we would never say that. Right? Now, this is what you can do if you're good in your head. But if you're not good in your head, you would have done the two steps. You could have gone millimeters to meters and meters to kilometers. You would have had to multiply twice and you would have figured it out. Okay? Is everybody good? Good. Now, 11 and 12 are pretty simple. Try them. You can even try 13. Stop at the end of 13 because there's a trick at 13 that I want to make you aware of. Do 11, 12, and 13, and then we're going to talk for a moment. I'm going to have some hot lemon relief that I bet is too hot for me to drink anyway. No, the plank is 6 foot 4 inches long, like my body is 5 foot 8 inches long.
Okay, but if you figure, okay, wait, so yeah, so if one foot is 12 inches, so 12 times 6 is
that pesky 12 times table.
I hate the 12.
Oh, everybody hates the 12.
Plus 72 plus 4, 86 inches.
72 plus 4 is 86. You should get into banking. Yes, 76. First try, Lego Batman. Yes? Okay. Now that everybody's moved around, I got to see if I can do names. Priya, Anoop, Jaden, Toby, Kyle, Sahil, Henry, Lucas, Colin. I can't even see his head. Who is it? Oh, Manroop. Other Sahil, who has moved over, so now when I do him first, you've become other Sahil.
Stop at 13.
Yeah, stop at 13. Ekam, Sebastian, Austin, Tinbach, Jesse, Brant, Jessica. That's going to mess me up. Levi, Hazel, Anu, Arsh, Jordan,
But then you have to
Ken,
add 4 inches.
Krisha, Amneet, Siona, Hannah, Karam. He's not looking at me. Is it a K? Karam? No.
You messed this up yesterday.
Daniel with an extra A, because that helps me remember, because it's weird to see it with an A at all, but to see it with 2 A's. Damn, it's so embarrassing for me. Tajvir. No, Tajvir's in the other class. I did that yesterday too. Sukman. Sorry, man. I know. There was a K in it.
And that's what she said yesterday too. She said, does it start with a K?
Did I? All right. If you can do it in your head, are you allowed to do it in your head? On your notes. In your notes, if you can do it in your head, can you do it in your head? I don't care. On your test, would you risk that? No, of course not, because I could think that you were looking on some other kid's paper. So, of course, this is 6 times 12 to get 72. That covers my 6 feet. But there were 4 more inches. 76 inches. 5 yards, 2 feet. Well, the yards is 5 times what? How many inches in a yard? 36. Plus the feet is 2 times 20, 12. To get 72. Not 72, you idiot. 5 times 36, which is 180, plus 2 times 12, which is 24, which is 204. Now, for number 13, I am willing to bet that 30 out of 30 of you get the right number, but I am betting that a couple of you get the wrong answer. What? How can that be? Math class, it's about numbers. If you have the right number, you must have the right answer, correct? Let's see, shall we? 6 yards that need to be cut in strips 5 inches. What do I got to do to the yards? I got to turn them into inches. So that's 6 times what? To get what? 216. What am I doing with that 216? Dividing it by 5 because I'm breaking it down into 5-inch chunks. And that gets me an answer of 43.2. Is that a number? Yeah, that's the right number. Is it the right answer? What's the answer? 43. Why? Can't make 0.2 of a banner. Now, everybody understands it when I say it that way. But what if this was, and don't write this down, just use your brain. What if this division got me 43.8? Now how many banners can I make? Still 43. Because in real life, you don't round up because you can't miraculously find enough material to do that last 0.2 of a banner. Do you all understand? That is why I spend so much time talking about the difference between math class and being able to find the number, and the difference between real life, being able to find what you actually need. Now, how will I mess with your head on this? On a multiple choice test, choice A would be 43.2, which would be what you would see on your calculator. And 10 to 15 of you, and then choice D would be 43. And then when you get hip to my moves, I would do this. 43 inches and 43 banners. And some of you go, you can get 43 inches of banners. Okay. Why would you do that to us, Mr. Myers? Why are you such a raging... Because details matter. If you go to the surgeon for surgery on your right knee, and he gives you surgery on your left knee, is that a pretty important detail? It was only one knee off. Sorry, man. Right? If you're sending a rocket ship to Mars and you're 1 millimeter off on Earth, how far are you off when you get to Mars? Millions of kilometers. Details matter. Pay attention. I like the surgery one, because when I got surgery on my knee, I was lying there waiting to get put to sleep, and this nurse gets out a big fat Sharpie. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she goes to my left leg, because I'm wearing like nothing, because they're chopping into my leg. And all the way down my left leg starts doing big black X's. All the way down. I'm like, why are you doing that? So we don't cut into the wrong leg. Son of a bitch, that happens? Oh yeah, more than you know. Which would be really frustrating because you wait a long time to get surgery in BC. Anyways, the other time I got surgery, the guy who put you to sleep went home sick. So you know what they did? Left me awake. I was wide awake. They froze my belly because I was getting a hernia put back in. There's a little split between the muscles of my tummy behind my belly button, and my belly button went from an innie to an outie because I had a little hernia. So they had to cut me open and push it back in and sew up my tummy again. But I was awake for it all. But I'm not a wuss. So they cut me open. They start pushing my hernia back in, and I'm like... And the guy's like talking to the nurses, right? Because I'm pretty sure the doctors are macking on the nurses when you're asleep. I'm pretty sure that happens. But I was awake, so it ruined his game, right? So they were talking about like politics and crap. I'm like, okay, you people, shut up. You just talk about things that you would normally talk about. I'm just not here. So then and the guy's like, holy crap, you can feel that? Yeah. Why didn't you say anything? Because I didn't want to be a wuss. You're an idiot. And then he gets out this syringe that was like this big. It was like a fire extinguisher. And he said, this has some more freezing in it. And then I couldn't feel anything from my eyeballs down. And then I go home and I'm doing stuff. I'm cooking dinner and my wife's like, you just had surgery. You should sit down and relax. I'm like, oh, honey, I feel fine. You're a moron. You had your whole body frozen. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm not a wuss. Then the next morning I woke up. It hurts so much. Anyways, back to math. Details matter. Okay. How many different ways could you do the calculation for number 14? Levi, what's one way you could do it? You could do 2,000 minus 755, and that would get you what? 1,245 meters. What else could you do? Anu. 2 minus 0.755 and get 1.245 kilometers. Which one's better? Pardon me, Arsh? Doesn't matter. Why? Because they're the exact same distance. Do both of those answers show me you understand how the metric system works? So do I care which one you do? If I cared which one you did, would I tell you? Oh, look, I would. What's that answer? It's a tricky one. Is that part hard? No, it's already in kilometers. Is that part hard? No, you just moved the decimal 3 spots. Is that part hard? Not really. You just moved the decimal how many spots? Centimeter to... No, we're going up to kilometer, and we're starting at centimeter. So centimeter to meter, meter to deca, deca to hecto, hecto to kilo. 4 steps. Oh, I forgot deci. It's 5 steps. I forgot deci. Centi decimeter. Oh, see, I always forget deci too because we don't use it. I got to teach it to you in math, but we never use it. And I always forget deci. So it is, of course, 1.35 plus 0.125 plus 0.0004 to get 1.4754 km. Now try to do the same thing with 16, except it's tricky. '16 is tricky McTrickleton. Is it tricky in calculating, or is it tricky in how you're going to have to write the answer? It's tricky in how you're going to have to write the answer. Because you've already seen there's often more than one way to write the answers, yes? And you guys are like, oh my God, I need to know the right way to write the answer. There is no right way to write the answer. Ironically, though, there are wrong ways to write the answer. You see how I creaked at the right time? Yeah. It's all about presentation, Jessica. All about presentation. This hot lemon relief is delicious. Pretty much everybody should be able to get to there in a couple of seconds, yeah? Now we're in trouble. Why are we in trouble? What's left? Inches. Does 13 inches even equal 1 yard? No, so I must need a fraction. If I keep it as inches, how many inches are in a yard? 36. How many inches do I have? So it must be 13/36 of a yard, correct? Now, is that how we say a measurement? Am I 5 7/12 of a foot tall? What? Technically, yes, but what do I say? 5 feet 7 inches. So what should I really do here? I should really do 7,052 feet. Yards. And then 1 foot and 1 inch. Does everybody understand why? This is acceptable. This is acceptable. Now, is this very elementary school picky? Very much so. Right? Will I base a lot of my assessment of you on that kind of pickiness? No, I will not. But do you need to be able to understand how it comes about? Yes. Everybody cool? All right. Turn the page over. Let us start with number 18, cabbages, or number 17. Lettuce, cabbages. Number 17. Number 17 and 18 work together to give us a math class and a real life situation. While you're working it out, I'll draw a picture. We're only doing number 17. How much inches of frame must I buy? Where does frame live? Where does the frame of a picture live? On the outside. So how long is this? 5 what? 5 feet. So how long is this in inches? 5 times 12, which equals 60. How long is this? 3 times 12, which equals 36. How much frame do I need to buy? 192 inches of frame. In math class, because the frame goes around the edge of a picture. In real life, does frame go around the edge of a picture? No, of course not, because it extends past the edge of the picture, doesn't it? In real life, the picture is this, which is a picture of me lying on a beach. See, leaning against a palm tree. In real life, because it's my beach, and I'll be naked if I want to be. The picture is how big? It's 36, right? But I've got an extra inch there and an extra inch there. So how long's the frame? How long's the frame here? It's 2 inches more, so it's 38, right? Right? Now, how long have I gone here? Another inch, so this is really what? 62. Because, of course, real frames are diagonal there, aren't they? So you need enough frame to cover the 38 and the 62, which means I am actually needing 200 inches of frame. Does everybody understand? There is the first thing you want to do. Oh, it's a frame, goes around the edge. Easy, done. Does that show me understanding? Shows me math understanding. Does that show me real life understanding? Everybody cool? All right, now the very last thing we're going to do together is number 19. Number 19 was on an old provincial exam. That exact question. I am telling you right now, that is one of the worst math questions I have ever seen. And someone was paid a good deal of money to write that math question. Can anybody tell me what is wrong with that question? Well, we've already converted feet to inches, so that's okay. Now, what's funny about the question I just asked is if you read that, some of you are going to say, I know the screen's blue. Some of you are going to say, there is nothing wrong with that, Mr. Myers. What are you talking about? And some of you are going to say, what? Toby. Exactly. If you don't know what crown molding is, can you answer this math question? We all know how to do math with numbers, but if you don't know what those words mean, you can't do it. So is this a math question or an English question? It's an English question. There's another mistake in here too. What's a linear foot? Do you guys know? I'll give you a hint. We measure our height in linear feet. Straight up and down. Doesn't matter how fat or skinny I am, I'm 5'7.5" tall. I know it's blue again. So now that you know some stuff, it doesn't matter what the crown molding looks like. Every foot you need to buy is $3.79. Where does crown molding live? Some of you know, some of you don't. Where does crown molding live in a room? Jesse? On the top of the room, like all over your ceiling? On the edge of your ceiling, where your ceiling meets the wall. Unless it's on the floor, and then they call it a baseboard. But it's the same damn thing. So I need to know how much feet I need around my room. Right? So how long is this? 240. How long is this? 185. So how many inches do I need to go all the way around? What do I have to do to this guy? Times 2. What do I have to do to this guy? Times 2. Could I add them both together and then multiply? Yeah. Does it matter which way you do this? You do it the way it makes sense for you. Right? So when you do that math, what do you get? 850 inches. But I can only buy the molding in what units? Feet. So what do I have to do with that? Divide it by 12. What do I get? $70.8. How many feet of crown molding do I need to buy? 71. Is that a real life answer? If you had to buy this much crown molding for this room, would you go to Home Depot and say, dude, I need 71 feet of crown molding? You would? You can't say 70. You have to say at least 71. Would you get only 71? You would need extra. Why? Well, this is exactly 20 feet, isn't it?
Yes.
20. And this is what? It's not quite a perfect number, is it? So if I can't split up that 71 just right? I got to make sure I have enough to finish the job. Now, would I give you full marks if you told me it was 71? Do you think? You guys don't know me. I haven't marked anything for you. Do you think I would give you full marks if you said, let's go in 3 stages? You said that. Is that worth full marks? No, because you can't buy that many. It says right in the question, you got to buy by the foot. Would 71 be worth full marks? No. In math class, is 71 worth full marks? Full marks. Yes. In reality, would you only buy 71 feet? No, of course not, because what happens all the time? You mess up. You measure twice, you measure once and cut once instead of measuring twice and cutting once. Right? So if you were really a contractor, you would not buy the exact amount you would need. But you're not contractors, so you would get full marks for 71. Is everybody with me? Wonderful. Now, listen to me closely. I am going to shut up. Your homework today is pages 19 to 22. I will remind you of something. Perimeter. That is the blue. So it is 2 length plus 2 width, or length plus width times 2. Area is this, which is length times width. And you are going to do pages 19 to 22 for homework starting now, which gives you 25 minutes to finish it. Finishing 22. It's always inclusive, Sebastian. And might I give you this warning? Did I walk around with my class list and check homework today? So what does that do to the chances of me doing that tomorrow?
Very good.
It increases them. You want to risk it? Risk it. You do page 19 to 22. It often helps to draw pictures. Tomorrow, Sukman, I am starting with you. And I'm going to have it. I'm going to find where you sit. I'm going to start there. True story. Now, just to mess with my heads, I bet all of you change seats tomorrow anyway. But I am above that. I will rise to that challenge. What?
Just check like what you assigned yesterday, or you checked it
I
Friday?
just check what I assigned the day before. Because homework is up to you.
Okay, because I did one of the fractions, not the other.
So you dodged that bullet. But tomorrow, if you only did 2 of these 3 pages, you would get a check minus. Or maybe an X plus. It would depend. For example, if you only did page 19 and 20, 19 only has like 3 questions left on it. So 19 and 20 is a little less than half of all the work, right?
Yeah.
So I would give you a little less than half, which is check X plus.
What's that in percent? Like,
It isn't a percent.
Oh, because it doesn't count until.
Doesn't count till the end. When I make my decisions to decide on your final grade. Word. That's what word means. Hey, Brant, ask your dad for some eggs for me. that Len's Farm makes some good eggs. Sometimes they're the size of softballs. I pity the chicken.
I went over there with my basketball team because Marin's on our
Yes.
team, right? And then she like brought us into the chicken part. She's like, oh, like let me just check it first, right? She walks in with like 2 dead chickens by the neck. She's like, all right, you're good to go. Okay.
You got to be badass to live on a farm, Jessica.
Yeah.
Food comes from somewhere.
Did you get 40?
It is indeed 40. Well done.
Oh, I did 8 plus 8 plus 12 plus 12.
That still equals 40.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how you get there. If I tell you to meet me at the mall and you decide to drive all the way to Chilliwack, then to Agassiz, then over to the Agassiz Bridge, then down to Mission, then over that bridge, then up the hill, we'll still meet at the mall. You'll just
Make you pretty stupid though.
Yeah, I would. You watch your mouth, young lady.
What is
I'm okay.